Welcome to the Labour Force. I am Bongeni Mutwa. Reactions continue to pour in following the release of the bombshell report of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into state capture. The report has fingered high-profile politicians and business people for looting millions of rand from state-owned companies. Executives of parastatals are said to have facilitated the theft of vast amounts of public funds to private sector businesses through dodgy contracts and so-called sponsorships. In the wake of the report, the South African Federation of Trade Unions has called on workers to defend the report because they are the main victims of corruption. And COSATU says it wants the culprits to be prosecuted and the stolen money to be recovered from them.
We hope that the law enforcement agents will move with speed. Our view was that money stolen must be recovered. Conviction just to go to jail is not enough without getting the money. People can hide money, go to jail, get a parole, come back and live a stylish life. We think the state agency must follow the money wherever it is and recover it.
In a short while, we hope to be joined by the General Secretary of the South African Federation of Trade Unions, Zwelinzima Vavi, who yesterday penned an opinion piece to the Daily Maverick, where he was reacting to the bombshell report, where in fact he made that call to the workers. He said employed and unemployed workers must all close ranks and defend the report and its findings because they are the first victims of corruption. Of course, we know that with all the shenanigans that have gone on in state-owned enterprises, it has led to tens of thousands of workers losing their jobs. We've been reporting over a long period of time of workers in various parastatals going for months on end without getting a salary because now these parastatals have been driven to the ground. That's where now the South African Federation of Trade Unions is saying the workers must defend the report. Welcome back and thank you for joining us. We now have Mr. Zwelinzima Vavi, the General Secretary of the South African Federation of Trade Unions, joining us all the way from his home, his rural home in the Eastern Cape. Mr. Vavi, thank you very much for taking time to talk to us. Of course, we've seen, all of us on television, over 4 years, various witnesses taking the stand at the Zondo Commission, giving all kinds of details. But to see the outcome of this process crystallized in this report like this, it's still shocking, isn't it?
Still scary. The damage has been massive. The generations to come will still be counting the cost of this damage that have been caused, not just economically, but to the moral fiber of our politics. The politics have been robbed of the honesty of Nelson Mandela, O.R. Tambo, Chief Luthuli, Chris Hani, and Joe Slovo, and many other heroes of the liberation struggle, Sobukwe, Biko included. We are in trouble. And I think South Africa are not appreciating that we're actually in trouble. What we're warning now about Fogamutwa is that the beneficiaries of this corruption, the people who are enjoying this ill-gotten wealth, are now standing up, mobilizing society against the Zondo Commission. They're using left-wing rhetoric. They're using even the history of apartheid. They even are prepared to tell us that we must judge our leaders against P.W. Botha, B.J. Foster, and all of those brutal implementers of the apartheid system. They will not distinguish between the liberators, the people who promise our people a better life for all, and the brutal implementers of the system declared evil by the communities of the world. And this is what is scary. They're now creating confusion. They're using social media, and they're even using Marxism and Leninism to justify stealing, which is actually a project of a very small minority, which is being implemented at the expense of the greater interest of the majority and the common good of all workers in our country, in particular the marginalized black working class. And this is shameful. It's something that we want to condemn all together, and we want to make a call on workers. Don't be confused by hyenas wearing a sheep's skin, who are now resorting on using left-wing Marxists, Marxism quoting Lenin, in order to say it is okay for some elites in society to eat on your behalf as workers, and all that we left with as the working people must be to sing praises and defend the indefensible stealing of the future of our children. We say no to that, and that's why SAFTU is making a call. Rally behind this report, defend it not just in courts, but defend it where it matters the most, in the streets of our country, politically, so that we don't get derailed. If we do not punish the people that have led to a situation where 80% of workers today use taxis when they had a railway system inherited from apartheid, then you're going to have to tolerate even more. If you do not punish the people that have driven us to have no national airliner in the form of SAA because it has been collapsed by a small elite acting in the interest of each other instead of the greater majority, then there will be even worse things tomorrow. You're not going to just see and witness the burning down of Parliament. Eventually, the Constitutional Court will be burned down and nobody will be brought to book. If you do not act now to ensure that Denel, a worldwide respected arms manufacturer that was competing to nobody, which have been collapsed to the point that workers have to face their families on an empty stomach. Just imagine somebody who is an employee of a company like Denel suddenly finding himself with no plate of food on Christmas Day. And you want to defend that, and you're telling me and us that you are a revolutionary. You're not. You are not. You have joined the hyena class to defend the stealing of the future of your own children and that of the working class, just because you have crossed the line into the other side. And no, we shouldn't be fooled as workers at all. We must be prepared to march in the streets to say all of the people who are pointed out in this report must face the music in the courts. They must be prosecuted without any delay, and they must be put in jail with the keys thrown into the deepest sea, so that they will never ever come out to rob our future again.
Mr. Vavi, I'm not going to waste more of your time by asking you any further questions. We appreciate you taking the time for your vacation in the hills of the Eastern Cape to share your thoughts and feelings, your very honest and brutal thoughts about the outcome of the Zondo Commission. That's why we leave it.